Hey, this is Jim. Thanks for joining us for another NDI November Integrator Spotlight. You will see joined with me today is Matt Baker from Visua. Hey, Matt.
Hey, how you doing?
Excellent, man. How are
How's it
you?
going? Good. Look like you guys got a picture. I got to get a new one. That's like from my wedding like 6 years ago.
You know what? That's the first thing that everyone always says, but I'll be honest with you. We pulled it off of your LinkedIn page. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I know. I got to update my LinkedIn page. It's been busy.
yeah, exactly. Matt, why don't we take this opportunity, introduce yourself and introduce
Yeah,
Visua and what you guys do over there?
sure. Matt Baker, as you said, Jim. I am the GM at Visua. We are an audio video integration firm and design consulting firm,
Okay.
focused primarily on the sports market and really the niche of minor league sports and collegiate.
You know what, though? I've seen more and more, especially lately, that these minor league teams are making some major investments in their
Hmm.
production technology and reaching out to their local audiences.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to invite you on the show to talk about how NDI technology takes place in its role in working with
Hmm.
these sports teams and to ask you about some of the challenges that you face when you're dealing with minor league franchises.
Sure. On top of the fact that minor league sports has always had kind of smaller budgets,
Okay.
the leagues from the top down, have really been putting a lot more requirements on the stream that they have to do, the type of content, the type of statistics that they're bringing into the stream.
Sure.
So what we have kind of found out and what we've really used NDI to do is to bring that all together,
I,
whether it's using TriCaster, and mini 4Ks. We put in a lot of those in, and a
yeah.
lot of TC1s in. And what's really unique about NDI is we can put in a lot of different what we call color shots into a sports broadcast.
Okay.
A typical sports broadcast, let's talk about baseball, right?
Yeah.
You have the center field camera. That's always a good shot, and then you usually have a follow camera,
Right.
right? Those are your two standard shots that you have in a show. But in order to really amp up that show, you got to bring more cameras in to get those color shots, close up of the skipper, close up of the batter, pitcher. And what we've really been able to do is utilize PTZ cameras,
Yep.
and static NDI cameras, and bring those into our show, so we have so many different angles, so much more. So it takes a minor league broadcast that was just a two-shot show and enhances it to just multi angles and really enhancing that fan experience.
So would you say that a minor investment in an NDI infrastructure or a network infrastructure is really giving these sports teams the flexibility to increase their production well beyond what that initial investment is costing them?
Oh, certainly. I mean, it's all about how many things can we bring in, and with NDI, it gives you so much more opportunity and so much more flexibility to do that.
Yeah.
Whether you're bringing in cameras from that's way out in left field, you just put it into your network. You don't have to do that home run. You just bring it right in the network, and you can put so much more into the show than what you were able to before.
And I can imagine with all of that flexibility, you're being challenged for creativity. And that there's got to be a
Oh yeah.
certain level of creative applications where maybe one team to another team, they're not all cookie cutter, they're not all the same. They all have their
Yeah.
own unique challenges that pop up along the way. What are some of the more creative things that you've run into during your installations?
We're doing a project right now in California. It's a AAA ball club, stadium, big stadium that now is a single A stadium. And it's they've had SDI, RG6 cabling all over the place in
Lots
that
and lots of cable.
ballpark. We were there last week cutting everything because it's all old and really hasn't been used
Okay.
in the last 5 6 years. No one, it just hasn't been touched.
Yep.
And all we got to do now is just put in the infrastructure NDI network, and we can actually branch out and have so many different places that we can actually put cameras.
Yep.
We're going to be putting in multiple PTZ cameras in that place, to get, like I was talking about, the angle of the skipper, the angle right into the dugout,
Yep.
getting those fan close-up shots. So what's really unique about this project is, like I said, is we can put so many cameras more than we were able to before.
You know, Matt, you brought up a really important feature that NDI gives us. NDI gives us the ability to bring in the video feed from the camera, but now over that same Cat6 cabling, you're getting control of the PTZ cameras as well as power with the power over Ethernet. So now you're cutting out all of these old SDI cables and you're replacing everything with a network infrastructure, which is just much more efficient and much more useful. That's got to be a great feeling as the installers going into these projects, huh?
Oh, certainly. I mean, I'll take you back a little bit before this season, right? So before this baseball season, I talk about baseball because, you know, we do a lot of those type of projects.
Sure.
And leading up to the season, nobody really knew until like 2 or 3 months who was going to play, when they were going to play. So once it was like go time,
Yep.
we started getting calls like, all right, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this.
Yeah.
So we had to do a lot of installs in literally 30 days.
Yep.
And being able to do it all control, like as you said, power and video all over one cable. We were able to, you know, do an install in like 2 or 3 days, which before was taking a week or two.
And I'm going to roll a video clip behind me that you sent over from the Milwaukee Milkmen. So I imagine this is one of those installs that you're talking about, right, Matt?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, this is one that's kind of an interesting story. We literally received a call from them, you know, 10 to 14, I think it was like 10 days before their opening day in May. And they, you know, they didn't have any cameras, they didn't have any switcher replay because they had outsourced it in the past. And then they just had nothing, you know, 10 days before. So they called us. And we're like, hey, we need to do something here. We need a show. So we were able to quickly put together, you know, a TC1, a 3P1, some PTZ cameras, and like I said, some of those static color shots, and utilizing some of the little, you know, existing fiber backbone that they already had.
Yep.
And we were able to install that in 4 days. Nothing that we've really been able to experience before NDI, being able to do something like that and get something up and running like that within that short of a time period.
And that's great. And I think one of the things that's obvious in the little video clip was even the crowd footage with the mascot dancing on the top of the dugout. I know from going to the local minor league baseball games here that the crowd participation and the mascots is still one of those things that sets minor league sports apart from some of their major league counterparts. And it's very important for them to get that community involvement. So now having the infrastructure in place and having the ability to set up these robotic cameras throughout the stadium has to make getting shots like that even easier, right?
Yeah, you know, it's what we teach our teams, our clients. Yep. You know, we always say we help teams because it's more than just, you know, this equipment is really just the tools to put on a show, right?
Absolutely.
In minor league baseball, it is so much a show. It's more than the sport. You know, the average fan that's going to a game, you know, there's a couple that are really diehard baseball fans, but in minor league baseball, people are going there to be entertained.
Sure.
So if you can give them more, they're just going to take that back with them. And on top of that, it enhances, you know, your sponsorship inventory that you can provide. In minor league sports, there's 2 shows you're producing. There's the in-house show, which is on your video board.
Yep.
That you know, you're doing tons of sponsorship for that, and then there's your stream. And you know, a lot of time we're simulcasting a lot of that stuff.
And like you and I alluded to earlier, when you start with an NDI infrastructure, you can bring in and add additional tools. You mentioned the TriTester and the 3Play. The new TET 3Play system for instant replay in sports production has got to be a huge thing that you're asked for all the time, right?
Oh yeah, replay is huge, and giving, you know, different angles and such into that. You know, it also provides a lot of, you know, opportunity for sponsorships and to enhance that and add inventory that teams can sell. You know, for transitions and you know, it's sponsored by blah 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 company.
Yep. And you know what? It's funny. I never thought of it that way, but it really is a good point. When you roll that replay clip, it allows you to tag it with the sponsor, to roll a video for a commercial coming in and out of it. So it does give you that additional inventory, which brings more money into the team, which adds more money to the piggy bank, which ultimately could even lead to a bigger investment into the production tools like the ones that we're talking about.
Hmm.
Matt, I have another video to roll here, and I'm sure you
Sure.
provided it just because of the team name. The
Oh
Illinois
yeah.
Valley Pistol Shrimp.
Yeah, I love these guys, man. They're just, they're a scrappy little team here. So they're a team that plays in the Prospect League, which is a collegiate woodback league.
Okay.
And they don't have a stadium, so they basically took I would say probably like a high school field. It's Veterans Memorial Field,
Okay.
in Peru, Illinois. And as you can see, there's no big stands there. They did put some stands in place, and they, added some dugouts and stuff like that. But it's, they needed to put together some kind of, show. There wasn't really anywhere to mount a camera out there. The way that we did this is we were able to put a PTZ camera in a dugout. We were able to put a follow camera with a NDI converter encoder in the other dugout, and then we were able to put a camera out in the outfield. And it's a 3-camera show, but it's really a fun show because
Yeah.
these guys are also so small that they actually have like 2 guys that are their commentators, and it's like listening to 2 guys on a couch talk about a baseball game. It's so fun. We were able to install this in 2 days by getting the cameras over 1 Cat 6 control, and video, and it just made our lives so much easier as integrators.
But one of the things you notice immediately on the video clip is that the stadium isn't a stadium. It's a baseball field. And
Yep.
you taking that challenge and installing an NDI production system the same way you did in the minor league stadium that we saw a moment ago, it really shows you how much capability is there to create a very nice sports production, regardless of the size of the organization. What are some of the things that you recognize as being a great opportunity with NDI specifically in the future?
Yeah, it's what I'm really excited about is, and the other part of our world outside of production is we do a lot of digital signage projects.
Okay.
And what I'm really excited to see is how NDI expands in that world, and how we are able to take sources that are, in our in-house sources and send them to all the displays and displays easily across the stadium.
Okay.
For fans, whether they're in the suites or whether they're, walking through a concourse, we like to put, displays around the concourse in those places to, obviously hit them with sponsorship ads, but also live video and content like that. So I'm really excited to see how NDI starts evolving into the digital signage world.
Yep.
And on top, everybody's right now, the big topic everybody's talking about is NDI Bridge,
Yes.
NDI 5. So I'm really excited about that and how I can bridge different teams together, and bring sources from other clients to other clients, and doing so much more. We're right now in the heat of building a new baseball stadium, and we're really building and designing a lot of this around NDI. And we're putting digital signage, and we're thinking, okay, how are we getting all of our sources to those displays? Whether they're it's the general manager in their office wanting to watch the game, and I think the easy way, like what makes sense to me, is getting all that across the network via NDI.
Do me a favor, give us a little bit more information again for the sports teams that are out there or other people who want to get into live production, how they
Sure.
can contact and start the conversation with Visua.
Yeah, thanks again, Jim. This was a lot of fun. You can contact us at that number 866-847-8228. If any kind of audio video technology and you're a sports team in a stadium, give us a call. We will help you. Again, whether it's what we talked about today, whether you want to put some new speakers in your stadium, anything audio video technology, we're nerds, and we will help you out. and we will help you maximize that technology, because that's what we love to do: design and then teach our clients how to use it.
Matt, thanks again for joining us. Have a happy NDI November.
Thanks, appreciate it. Happy NDI November.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Yeah.